folks. Well, it seems like the comfort woman debate has returned. Recently on Facebook, there was a notation there by Colonel Shunsan of Japan. And via that notation, I was able to come across something that was written many years ago, the diary of a Japanese military brothel manager, written by a person by the name of Mr. Park, a South Korean, or then Korean. And I came across its interpretation or evaluation on Wikipedia. And in this evaluation on Wikipedia, they seem to contradict themselves in this write-up. So I'd like to review with you what Mr. Park supposedly wrote in the diary in reference to the comfort woman brothels during the Second World War. Now, Mr. Park, a South Korean, he managed a few of these comfort woman stations. Huh? Yes, a Korean managed these comfort woman stations. Now, why would he do that if the women were forced into sexual slavery? Let's review what Wikipedia has to say about this. Comfort women should be regarded as sex slaves. That's Wikipedia's evaluation. Right at the top, they should be regarded as sex slaves. Let's continue further. Recruiting comfort women and sending them overseas to provide sexual service to Japanese soldiers. Recruiting? Wait a minute, you recruit slaves? Mr. Park traveled to Japanese occupied areas with his brother-in-law to manage a brothel, a comfort woman's a brothel. That's what he did. So here we have two Koreans. Ran a brothel, managed a brothel, he started work at a brothel. A Korean doing all this. Mr. Park's regular duties was to deposit comfort women earnings at their request. Sex slaves can do that? They have earnings? I didn't know that. Comfort women received leaves of absence if they became pregnant. Wait a minute, you got a leave of absence from being a sex slave? I didn't know that sex slaves can do that. Comfort women were paid for their work. Now wait a minute. That negates the whole sex slave label right there, that they were paid for their work. How many slaves do you know of that were paid for their work? Sex slaves? Many had individual savings accounts. Gee, this slavery sounds pretty nice. You get paid for your work, you have savings accounts. They were also able to obtain travel papers for the comfort women. See, that tells you right there, this comfort woman's sex slave business is a lot of nonsense. And they were able to remit their wages back to Korea. Brothels were operated by Koreans. So they were operating, these comfort women stations were by Koreans, supposedly for women forced into sexual slavery. Yeah, right. Mr. Park followed Korean brothel managers, and he had investments throughout Asia in cafeterias, factories, and confectionaries. He was making a lot of money, this Korean running these comfort women stations. Mr. Park paid dues to and attended regular meetings of the Military Brothel Association, which appears to have been an independent guild of brothel owners similar to those of which existed in the Korean prostitution industry. So you see, all that happened here was these Korean men transported the brothel association's activities from the Korean peninsula to the occupied areas. Mr. Park was not a military employee. Brothels were essentially run as a private business. There you go. Employees of the brothel, yeah, not slaves of the brothel, employees. Comfort women were not sex slaves. There we go, right there, contradicting what Wikipedia wrote at the beginning. Many cases permitted to quit their jobs upon request. Really? You mean I'm a slave and I can quit anytime I want? Doesn't sound like a sex slave to me, or any type of slave. Comfort women were recruited by business operators in Korea, and there was no need for the military to abduct them. So you see, right there in Wikipedia, Wikipedia attempted to call them sex slaves, but further into the writing, what they wrote were, they were not sex slaves. So, you have now people, the Comfort Woman Mafia, trying to extort money from the Japanese government for these Comfort Woman stations. Did they try to extort money from the Koreans who operated the Comfort Woman stations? From the Koreans who recruited these women into the Comfort Woman station? Why are they exempt from extortion? Alright, folks. To me, the debate is settled. Well, it's been settled for me for years. Alright, folks. God bless you. God bless America. God bless the nation you happen to be in. And God bless our good friends and trusted allies in the land of the rising sun, Nihongoku, Japan. Nippon! See ya.
Ha 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 ha!